October 14th, 1944. A black staff car slowly rolled into the quiet village of Herrlingen in southern Germany. Inside the house, waiting for them, was one of Germany's most famous generals, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel. Two officers stepped out of the vehicle carrying a message from Adolf Hitler. It was not a request. It was an ultimatum. Rommel had two choices. He could face trial for treason before the Nazi People's Court, a trial that would almost certainly end in execution, or he could take poison. His family would be spared. His reputation would remain intact. Within hours, the legendary Desert Fox would be dead. But the story of how one of Hitler's greatest generals reached this moment began months earlier to tell us when Rommel realized Germany was losing the war. By 1944, the war had turned decisively against Germany. Allied forces had landed in France during the historic D-Day. In the east, Soviet armies were pushing German forces back toward Berlin. And across Germany, cities were being destroyed by relentless Allied bombing. Rommel had seen enough war to understand the truth. Germany could no longer win. Unlike Hitler, Rommel believed the war had reached a point where a political solution was necessary. He warned Hitler that continuing the conflict would only bring destruction to Germany itself. But Hitler refused to listen. To him, surrender was unthinkable. By mid-1944, many senior German officers had reached the same conclusion as Rommel. Hitler's leadership was leading Germany toward disaster. Within the German military, a secret resistance movement began forming. Their goal was simple: remove Hitler from power and negotiate peace with the Western Allies. The conspiracy reached its climax on July 20th, 1944. A German officer named Klaus von Stauffenberg carried a bomb into Hitler's headquarters. Inside the conference room, he placed a briefcase filled with explosives near Hitler. Moments later, the bomb exploded. The explosion destroyed the room. Several officers were killed instantly, but Hitler survived. The failed assassination attempt triggered one of the largest purges in Nazi Germany. Thousands of officers and civilians were arrested. Many were tortured. Many were executed. The regime was determined to eliminate everyone connected to the conspiracy. Soon, investigators uncovered something troubling: evidence linking the plotters to one of Germany's most respected generals, Erwin Rommel. Rommel had not taken part in the assassination attempt, but some conspirators had spoken with him beforehand. Rommel had made something clear: Hitler needed to be removed from power. Germany needed peace. That alone made him dangerous. But punishing Rommel created a serious problem for Hitler. Rommel was not just another general. He was a national hero. During the North African campaign, his daring tactics had earned him international fame and the nickname the Desert Fox. Putting Rommel on public trial could damage morale across Germany, so Hitler chose a quieter solution. On October 14, 1944, two generals arrived at Rommel's home with Hitler's ultimatum: trial for treason or suicide. Rommel understood the message immediately. If he refused, he would be executed and his family might suffer. So, he chose the second option. After saying goodbye to his wife and son, Rommel entered the car with the two generals. Inside the vehicle, he swallowed a cyanide capsule. Within minutes, one of Germany's most famous commanders was dead. The Nazi government announced that Rommel had died from wounds sustained in an Allied air attack. Germany held a full state funeral in his honor. To the public, he remained a hero. But the truth remained hidden. Rommel had become another victim of the regime he once served. Rommel's death symbolized the growing divisions within Germany's military leadership during the final months of the war. Many officers had realized that Hitler's leadership was leading Germany toward total destruction. But by late 1944, it was already too late. Just 7 months later, Nazi Germany would surrender, and the war in Europe would finally come to an end.